Come here, come here.
Hey
come
man,
Here, come here.
hey man, wait up! Is that a Geo?
Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come here.
Well, good morning everyone. The painting begins on the 91 Aqua. It had uneven paint on the car. I mean, the driver's side looked decent. The passenger side looked quite faded, like maybe they replaced a door after a wreck or something and then tried to get some rattle can paint from Napa or something to cover it up. But taped it off last night, did some light sanding with very high grit, kind of knocked the imperfections off, and today I'm just rattle canning it with some made to order paint. 43U paint is the paint code for aqua metallic. I find that metallic paints go on a lot more forgiving with rattle can than regular paint. So we'll see what this looks like after I get it completely taped off. I've got kind of the rear of the vehicle, the first coat painted, put on there right now, but lots more to do. Light wet sand, coat of clear. We'll see what it looks like. More to come. Well, I hit it with the first coat, and where I had taken off the stickers, the paint obviously wasn't sticking to where I sanded it down to the under finish. But so far, so I'm just going to lightly sand that. I got some 1600 grit. Going to lightly sand that. Some areas in the back I need to lightly sand, and wet sand with 1600 grit. And then hit it again. Right now I'm taping off the front, the bumpers and stuff. Got the back bumper all covered. So, so right now it's just paint and wet sand, paint and wet sand. And then once I get it to a mirror shine, then I'll hit it with a bunch of coats of clear. More in a bit. Okay, I got about 4.5 cans of paint on it. The areas that I had the primer, where I had sanded down to get the Geo Metro labels off, looks pretty good. Car itself looks pretty uniform, but still got to wet sand it once this all dries, and I've got about 1.5 cans left. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. I mean, it still has scratches and some chunks taken out of the hood and stuff like this. Like on the hood, there's some scratches like that. And I could have feathered in some stuff. I just didn't want to spend a lot of time sanding it. The roof is looking pretty good. Spoiler. Had some light body work that I did back here. So the paint that I got, just to remind everybody, is from Automotive Touch Up out of Louisiana. Code 43U for aqua metallic. And then you just get one of these spray nozzles, and it sprays it out. It spreads it out better than if you were just using the can. So this is looking pretty good, but it's all in how I wet sand, which I'm going to use 1600 to wet sand, and then use the other 1.5 cans that I've got to repair any of the wet sanding stuff if there's any blemishes. And I've got a ton of cans of clear. You can see them up there on the right next to that bottle of water. Blue cans, that's clear. So I got a bunch of those. And I'll probably pick this up again tomorrow. I think I'm done for today. Okay, so I've started the wet sanding process. Just thought I'd pick a little area of the roof of the car. This half on the top, this passenger half. And so far so good. I am using 1600 grit, and just kind of knocking off the top level of impurities. If you see any lines in there, it's probably from the microfiber that I was wiping away the moisture. So I did this half, but I did not do that half yet. It still has some dust and stuff on the top of it. So far so good. I'm happy with it. I'll get the whole car. It'll take me an entire day to wet sand this entire car, and then I'll hit it with the clear, and then repeat the process. Okay, I was using 1500 grit. I also got some distilled water and filled this little spray nozzle. Wrapped the 1500 around a sponge, sanding block sponge. Used 2 of those, and went around. This is the first wet sand on the car, and this has given it a really nice matte finish. If I wanted to keep it matte, I would just take all the tape off and drive it around today, but this is nice. There's no swirl marks. The only swirl marks are where I took a microfiber and was really wanting to get it clean of every single ounce of dust off this thing. Residue from the wet sanding. So let me back up here and get the car in its glory. Hood came out real good. Now the hood has some scratches on it. I think I showed you those in a previous video. And you can see them, but I think once I get the clear, and it did have the emblem, I took off the emblem, I'm going to put the emblem right back on. But everything came out really well. The paint is very even all around. Roof of the car, especially the hood. I was really worried about how the hood would come out, but that came out really nice. So since I've already sanded it, and I got to retape it back up, and this thing is ready for clear. More in a bit once I get some coats of clear on it. Overall, the car is looking pretty good. I had the first coat of clear applied to it and went on pretty well. I have not wet sanded the clear just yet. I want to get a little bit higher grit to do that. I have 1500, but I think that's a little, I could probably use 1500, that'd be all right. And the hood came out, so it looks good down through here, pretty glossy. Got to the hood, hood's looking pretty glossy, looking pretty good. Where I made a mistake is I oversprayed in an area on the passenger side underneath the mirror, and when it run down, I quickly grabbed a towel and dabbed at it. That's not what you want to do. You just want it to dry and then sand it down later. So I had to sand it down, had to use a little bit of higher grit to kind of get the high points out. So I'm going to repaint that area. There was also some light spots down here that I sanded down again with 1500 grit. There were also some areas here, like where I took off the Metro stickers, where I could see the primer underneath, so I'm going to hit that with some paint again. And one of those little cottonwood things that fly in the air landed boop, right there, and so I went to pick it off real quick and couldn't get it in time, and so I had to sand that down too. So I'm going to have to repaint these areas and then respray them and wet sand and whatever. So that's there, but the rest of the car is looking pretty good. So I'm going to treat these, and then when I do a wet sand, I'll just go ahead and wet sand the entire car. But the clear is really bringing out, you can't really see it, but it's really bringing out the metallic. You see that? It's really bringing out the metallic flake. Metallic flake is probably the most forgiving of all the paints, in my opinion. All right, more to bit. Okay, so today I'm fixing a few mistakes that I made where the paint ran, and I, rather than let it dry and sand it down, I tried to dab it with a towel and made some mistakes. So right underneath the mirror, I had to re-sand, re-primer, repaint. It's coming out pretty good. There still are a few little marks, like raised lines. I don't know if you can see it. There was another one where a piece of, you know, that I always call it flying cotton from dogwood trees or whatever, kind of stuck to the fender. I got that taken care of. Sometimes when you're spray painting, the bottom of the can will accidentally hit what you're painting and put a line. So I had to, you see the wetness there, I had to kind of re-sand that down a little bit on the hood. But all in all, it's coming out pretty good. The clear went on pretty well. The roof is looking pretty good. Pretty reflective. I mean, it's not going to be a mirror finish, but it's going to be real nice. And as long as the metallic flake pops out, It's 1,000 times better than what it was. 1,000 times better. All right. Well, if this turns out okay, then I'll have to get the blue one back in the garage eventually and finish the paint job on that. The only thing I did was basically paint it matte, a matte finish. I didn't really take time to wet sand the entire car or do anything like that. So I got blue paint remaining. I can finish that job and coat it in sealant as well and clear. So that's coming up next. Every car looks good in the rain. It's when you get it under the lights. That's where you can tell the difference. So, all right, more in a bit. I needed to do some touch up on the hood where I had a few deeper scratches, a few drops from the clear. So I was able to re-sand that down, re-wet sand it, paint it again. So now this is another 2 coats after the initial coats and the clear coat and the sanding of the clear coat and the repaint and sanding of the repaint and paint again. And I finally got some of those splotches out of the hood. It's looking pretty good. The rest of the car is looking really well. I got one of these, picked up one of these LED light arrays, pretty bright. So also the ceiling of my garage, I got those up. Those are like 6 bulbs in the, actually 9, I think. Anyway, they're pretty bright, so I bought one of these standalone things for working on the cars too, and they are very bright. So, but they're perfect for, you know, going along the car and looking for scratches and imperfections. This car is not perfect. It's got its share of imperfections, but I tell you, it is. You know how they say you got a good-looking car if it looks good from 10 feet out? This is probably 5 feet out. So, paint's looking pretty good. So the true test will be once so the next thing I have to do is wait till this cures. So I'm going to wait until tomorrow. This is Friday night right now, about 5 o'clock. We're going to wait till Saturday around 2 in the afternoon, sand that down again, wet sand it, and then clear coat it, and then do a light wet sand on that clear coat. And if I need to clear coat it again, I will, but we'll see what that looks like. And then the real test will be once I start taking off all the tape and see what the black looks like with all the trim next to the paint, and roll it out in the sun the next time we have a sunny day here. It's been pouring down rain today. So, all right, more to come. And here is the almost finished product. Though I say almost because I just got to wet sand the hood, and I just couldn't wait to get the rest of the tape off. So, pretty even. Not to say that there aren't splotches in certain places. But look at the car from about 8 feet away. This is 8 feet. Pretty shiny, pretty good shine, pretty even. I mean, the passenger side was the side that was really, the paint was uneven, like it was wrecked or something. I don't know. I have no proof of that from the Carfax, but shrink this in a little bit. Yeah, I just have to wet sand the hood one final time. And next sunny day, I'll get it outside. Now, the one thing I do need to do is paint some of the black trim where there was some overspray. And there was also some overspray like on the black side trim. You can see it's on the top there. Not from when I was painted, but from when it was painted before, I think. So I'll just tape that off and hit it with black. Won't be a problem. So all in all, not bad. Ready for the road. Oops, let it bake in the garage for a few more days, I guess. And yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, this is Geo Stalker, over and out.